here we have currently up 1-0. Let me go ahead and adjust that on starboard. Sweet! I'm currently down a game, actually, as I'm looking at the red Protoss player. It is Og. Can he bring it back? Was working himself up to a ridiculously awesome defense, but then ended up losing his Immortals, and with that, unfortunately lost the game.
And his opponent kind of arguably cheesed his way to a quick victory in Game 1, but it is a best of 3, so he's not quite secured it yet. It is the teal Protoss player, Fiveyearold. And he's got a really early probe going out. He's built the pylon, I don't know, I kind of get the sense it's like, you know, you do one of these things one time to a player, it's really hard to pull off a second time, because, you know, that's going to put Og on that paranoid streak where it's like, scout around for the proxies earlier than he did last time, look for this, look for that. But again, it's also a two-player map, so he might just have something else in store.
Whoa, alright. Oh, a double gas steal?
Gas steal.
Yes, Og recognizes it and does actually take the second.
Good react. Because if you lose both those geysers, that's really going to hurt you.
So, this is actually awesome, and I think that this is what Fiveyearold was going for. He's going to take both of your gases, he's going to take both of his own gases, and he's going to go for a Mothership Core, and you're not going to have a Stalker to stop it.
I can see that working, because yeah, it's very hard to get the anti-air out, but...
I would imagine like a Forge would be somewhat decent against that, but...
Well, you know, even if you didn't do something crazy like a Mothership Core, just the fact that your opponent would only have Zealots really limits what they could do with any of your ground force as well.
Yeah.
Get that mind games thing going where you got a bunch of sentries hallucinating probes and Zealots. Make it look like you walled in, but really.
Right,
now,
so
the only argument for this is because it didn't work, I kind of maybe would have liked to have seen Fiveyearold cancel the gas, but leaving it there does kind of limit the tech choices Og
I like
has.
that. Considering the tech path that Og opted for last match, and the fact that Immortal play is definitely more viable on Daybreak than it is on Entombed Valley, I really like the choice to continue with the gas deal. He is going for double gas of his own, so most likely we will see a Mothership Core in addition to some other tech from him. I still haven't seen one base Stargate tech in PvP yet. That's actually becoming increasingly more popular in Wings of Liberty, so that's something I would definitely like to see.
Well, he's finished up his own Cybergate now, and Andy, you might just get your wish, sir, as a Stargate has been thrown down. Now, whether he's going to go with maybe some Void Rays, some Oracles, quite frankly, it'd be the smart choice to get at least an Oracle or two out to go for that harass. Either way, I mean, this opens up a lot of different pathways. Your opponent's going to have Stalkers, sure, but guess what? Void Rays shred Stalkers, especially with the new on Activate. Maybe you go Phoenixes. Guess what? Picking things up still works just as good as it does in Wings of Liberty. And of course, with the new addition of the Oracle, you can do some really crazy worker harass.
Yeah. We actually haven't seen Oracles be that effective so far, which is kind of strange.
I do actually. Speaking of anti-air things, I want to comment on a few games ago for I believe it was Yoigan versus Sasquatch Game 2, where he's like, okay, Mutalists, I'm gonna put down like 1,000,000 turrets and a couple Widow Mines in all of my bases, just to shut that down. But we do have Void Ray as the unit of choice here. And I mean, it's, you know, PvP, I gotta say that lift up mechanic is still very useful so long as you don't get caught off guard. Because right now, if say Og had done like a forking, you know, if he had pressure Fiveyearold, I don't know that Fiveyearold would even really have the potential to deal with it, having rushed the gate out like this. But it is kind of in his favor that Og just had to go for that Nexus, play a safer route. But if he lets this go for too long, suddenly he becomes very far behind.
I really want to see him hold this. Like, really, all of my inner thoughts are going to Og trying to hold this Nexus. We do see a second gateway out from him, and actually a third as well. He won't have the Immortals, but it really won't be all that much different. As his opponent's going for Phoenix.
The only unit I see being in danger is this Mothership Core. I mean, sure, the sentries are going to get lifted up, and that's whatever, but without that Mothership Core, you know, he's not going to be able to hold off a ground assault. You need that overcharge on the Nexus. And I believe, actually, let me check this, because I could be wrong. It only hits ground, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so these Phoenixes are quite troubling. Well, the overcharge is going to go to work on the Phoenixes. Mothership Core, however, of course, as we said, only hits ground, so not too useful on its own. Well, hopefully I can get a few more stalkers out in time to really dissuade any more harass. We do have 4 5th Phoenix on the way, and that's kind of the magic number of Phoenixes. It gives you just enough to pick up most of your opponent's army, and even if these don't do too much damage, I mean, Fiveyearold definitely going to go back for some more work or harass, but even if they don't do that much damage now, when it comes to the engage later, guess what? Lifting up the Immortals, lifting off 5 Stalkers, CCing half of your opponent can change the battle in just an instant.
Yeah. One of the most insane games and, like, entertaining PvPs that I've ever witnessed in, like, just watching SC2 was a match between Party and Killer, where both just blindly went for a double Stargate all-in and went for 2 Stargate Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
They were like, it was like a 15 versus 18 Phoenix fight. It was insane.
I wonder how crazy that would be now, the hardest one.
I know, yeah.
Like, the micro is that much more intense. Well, luckily, the Mothership Core does have enough energy to overcharge the Nexus if Fiveyearold continues with this. But again, Phoenixes are so fast that they really don't take that much damage from the Nexus.
Yeah, both players actually, interesting to note, are equal in worker counts. So those Phoenix are definitely able to try and catch Fiveyearold up to his opponent's economy.
Yeah, he's picked up 9 ropes at this point.
Yeah. Twilight Council just popping down now for Og. Meanwhile, we have Robotics Bay for our Cyan Protoss. And I like this. I always love Colossus play after Phoenix opening. It's just, they follow so well.
Yeah, plus it'd be like, what are you going to do to deal with the Colossus? Oh, get anti-air. Well, guess what? Oh, sorry, air units. Guess what? I've already got 5 anti-air units on the field.
Yep. Alright, and we do have a couple of Mortals in production. This would be lovely to pick off a couple of the Stalkers trying to snipe your opponent's Colossus. Always good. Oh wow, we can actually have another Robo off of 2 base.
Here's the cool thing that's happened. I mean, these Phoenixes have definitely done the harass damage that they wanted to do, but more importantly, they've kept Og at home. He doesn't want to split up his units. He doesn't want to lose like workers and other sentries to these Phoenix harass, but it's kept him at home. So Fiveyearold has very happily been just saturating his bases behind this. Ooh, he might actually lose a Phoenix here if not careful.
Yeah. Oh, just barely keeps him. Oh my gosh.
But again, there's that overcharge on the Nexus, so now this Mothership Core can't recall. Og can't really poke out. I mean, this is keeping him at home. And it might just be what Fiveyearold needs to do to make it into the macro game. As you said, Colossus are on the way. We've got Thermal Lance coming too. And quite frankly, Fiveyearold is going to have a much scarier standing army than Og currently does.
Yeah, unit-wise, we're looking at a Mothership Core. It's great and all, but really only gateway units. The tech is quite delayed. We just see a robotics facility on the way now. And the Phoenix are once again trying to come into the...
Oh my god, I can't believe they're getting away.
19 worker kills throughout this harassment, and now he definitely has a... Oh yeah. We can start seeing him reap the benefits.
On the Dark Shrine as well.
Oh, he's going to get a Mothership Core out of this too, but he has yet to lose a Phoenix.
Oh my goodness, Fiveyearold playing very masterfully, but most importantly there, he did see the Dark Shrine, so whether this, forces an observer out, whether he knows Archon's on the way, it doesn't really matter, because guess what? It's been scouted.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually really surprised we don't see an observer coming out, especially after scouting that. With the Warp Prism coming out too, we might have Og just get back into the game and do some counter damage to Fiveyearold. His only obstacle is he does have to get past these Phoenixes.
Yeah. I mean, this is obscene. I mean, look at this. This is complete and utter map control right now. Phoenix are ridiculously fast, and if you're trying to move from point A to point B via a Warp Prism, I don't know. Especially without speed.
The upgrades. I want to point out, Og does have that +1. That's only going to be effective for so long, because I mean, +1 Stalkers are great, but if you've got like 7 Colossus with +0, the Colossus are still going to win.
And here come the double Stargate. Alright, so I've seen the fact that you're going for Colossi. I know what's up. I'm going to beat you at your own game. I'm going to out-Stargate you. And especially with Archons, that's actually a really, really good composition to use against your Colossus-based army.
He is sending the Phoenixes out to scout. He hasn't actually confirmed the Colossus are the choice here, I suppose, but he will here in just a moment. He'll see that there's 3 on the field, and Voidries are really freaking good against Colossus.
Yeah.
That new on-active charge, I think a lot of people weren't happy with it at first, but like the fact that you can control when you get that extra burst of damage, that changes everything.
Yeah.
But still continuing to lose a couple workers. These Phoenixes trying to get in and do what they can, but the Stalkers are going to drive them out for now. 22 workers have been picked up over the course of this game. I mean, We had game one be about the quickest darn PvP I think we could see, and now we're seeing a macro PvP. So these two players are showing us just about every aspect of PvP in Heart of the Swarm. That's a lot of gateways, Panda. Oh man, 5-year-old put down a lot of gateways.
It's interesting because he, at this point, like he really doesn't have all that many gateway units on the field. We're looking at 2 stalkers and 3 zealots. That is the entirety of his basic tech units.
Well, he doesn't have a lot on the field. The reality is, again, Ogg's been stuck at home. He could have walked over 5-year-old's ground army at any point in this game, but the catch is he would have lost all his workers. Those Phoenixes, man, those are the best 5 Phoenixes I think 5-year-old will ever make.
Yeah, 22 worker kills throughout this game. And we do actually have air upgrades coming down here for Ogg. I really like the fact that he's going for this air composition. I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out in PvP. The first game we witnessed, we saw actually A-Bomb go up against another Protoss and end up winning in a late game fight that just was ridiculously one-sided. Colossus Sentry versus Mass Void Ray.
I have no idea if Ogg's going to go for it. It doesn't look like it going off of his tech path, but if he gets some Tempest out, I mean, they do super bonus damage versus Colossus.
Alright, so here is a push, and right now, I don't know if Ogg has exactly what it takes to destroy this composition. He needs to get out of here. He needs to sacrifice his base. He cannot contest this at all.
Yeah, if ignoring the Phoenix is lifting off half of his army, he doesn't have, ooh, I like this Colossus, maybe can make him look a little more scary than he actually is, and it's actually going to drive 5-year-old back just for a second until he realizes, oh, there was no damage taken.
And here come the Void Rays. They're
Yeah,
actually
man.
forcing his opponent back.
Look how much damage they're doing already, picking off a Stalker almost immediately. The Colossus being the choice to focus right now, but he is going to finish off those Phoenixes. They were all very, very low. Will the Phoenixes be enough, though? There's quite a few Stalkers here, Panda. I don't think the Phoenixes quite will do it.
He needs to get support up for this Void Rays. I know the Colossus deals so much damage, but...
Here comes some Dark Templar, though. Is there an Observer anywhere nearby?
No, and there's no Mothership Core. This is Ogg's Observer right here. There's nothing to...
Man, these 3 Dark Templar are going to take out the Colossus, Panda. I don't think I've ever seen this.
Oh my god.
Losing 2, 3 Colossus now, almost getting another the Immortal.
Yeah, here come the Void Rays again to destroy the units retreating.
And suddenly Ogg is back in this. He goes from being completely behind to just now he's got the scary army. And there's 2 Observers being chronoed out right now by 5-year-old, but they're so far off. And these Dark Templar are just doing work. Oh, here comes Ogg's only Observer, but it might just get sniped before it even gets close to the Dark Templar. Those 2 Observers though just came into the Robo Bay. Where are they?
Here comes another Observer.
Okay,
right,
so
the DTs will get cleaned up, and with this we might see a 5-year-old go for a counter.
But Ogg maintained his 3rd through all of that. He's even going for a 4th behind this.
And he has a worker lead at this point too. Both players are getting a 4th right now.
Let's not forget, he actually picked off all of the Phoenixes, so I mean, right now 5-year-old is getting a couple new ones out, but that threat is gone. He can suddenly use Warp Prisms as we do have the speed on the way. But oh man, here we go, have another big engage inside the 3rd of Ogg. Not sure he's paying attention, losing a couple Zealots for free. Not the best, but not the worst choice. Is being forced to fall back for now. Guardian Shield going to do what it can, but it can only do so much. These Phoenixes have got to connect to these Colossus. Are we going to see him use the overcharge? Half of them do have it available.
There's still a distinct lack of anti-air with 5-year-old's force. He's just committing all of his units to die.
Those Colossus went down. Oh my goodness. New Void Ray is pretty OP, man. All the Colossus are completely gone, and 5-year-old is now with a very scarce army. He's going for storms behind this, interestingly enough, but I mean, these Void Rays, there's not enough to contest them.
Yeah.
There's like 8 Phoenix floating around somewhere, a couple Colossus. Storms will be okay, but the Phoenixes can just move right out of them. Or sorry, the Void Rays can move right out of them. But man, that prismatic alignment, for those who don't know, it does give them that extra 6 damage, and it is for 20 seconds. Wow, I thought it was like 10. But man, I can't believe how quickly they vaporized the Colossus.
Yeah, that's I don't know.
Well, Ogg does scout the 4th and the 5th base. Well, he takes out the 4th, going now for the 5th. And, I mean, 5-year-old is getting shut down pretty hard. He's trying to go for his own Dark Shrine right now. Get himself back into the game. I guess, who was it? David Kim would be proud for those late-game Dark Templar finally coming into effect.
Yeah. I actually saw that come into effect yesterday, too, in one of the casts. I was like, oh my god, somebody's getting a Dark Templar Shrine at, like, 25 minutes in the game.
Panda, there's 9 Dark Templar and 11 Phoenixes on the field. Since when is this a Protoss competition?
Oh my god.
Well, right now we have Fiveyearold trying to reestablish that base, going for another behind this. Very, very risky, I gotta say. And Og, he's got vision of this. I mean, this base is gonna go down.
I mean, he's warping Archon straight on his opponent's expansion.
Yeah, exactly.
That was... I don't know about that. That was silly.
Where's the A move here from one of our players? I mean, right now, quite frankly, it really feels like Og has this game in the bag. I can understand playing safe. You know, you don't want to lose to something silly, but his fleet of Void Rays, I don't even know that it needs the ground support, quite frankly, because there's a lot of Zealots, a couple of Templar, but no Stalkers, only 2 Phoenixes. There's really nothing to contest this air army, Panda.
And this is just so many Void Rays. How many do you have in the field right now? There are 13 Void Rays in this composition here, and a couple of Archons to boot.
Right on top of the Void Rays, the split happening, but I mean, that is pretty much it for anti-air. And now Og maintaining every single Void Ray, not losing a single one to the Storms. Just gonna move in here. As soon as he hits that prismatic alignment, what few units Fiveyearold has left.
Oh, that was a pretty good storm, though. Peppering a couple of the Void Rays up. They're just too many, though, and the splits are too good. Fiveyearold just has no anti-air left. Literally.
There's no demolishing of the Void Rays. You're just getting some pepper. Archon's getting not quite enough, and I think Og has this game in the bag, Panda. There are some Stalkers, again, not the best versus Void Rays. And Og actually just completely splitting his forces, doesn't really care. I think he's, yeah, I'm gonna win this. Look at all these Dark Templar marching across the middle of the map. GG.